Good morning, fellow brothers and sisters of BFS. So, it's been an interesting week. Very busy. I was able to get out and get some clips and realize that they were all in slow-mo because of the GoPro being so touchy, going from the car mount to the on the water B-roll footage, yada yada. It was just all in slow-mo, and I tried editing last night and it was just taking too long, so I said, all right, let me just re-record and be more efficient with the recording. So at least I got some practice, right? We're gonna go over casting today. I've got some helpful hints for first-time BFSers, and yeah, let's have some fun. All right, see you on the water. All right, we made it to some water. It is extremely clear. Well, not extremely clear, but pretty clear. I don't see any fish, but that's not really why we're here. This is the casting tutorial. The actual one, not the slow-mo one that I stupidly recorded. So, got some new line on here. I went with 4-strand because the 8-strand I kept like nicking when I would pull out a backlash, and then it would just sever. Like, I've lost my lure twice now. I'm not sure if it was like factory seconds on Amazon, but it was Varvis line, and you know, the few spools that I've had before that lasted a lot longer. So I went to Dick's. I had picked up some of that Suffix Revolve line, and we'll see. This feels a little bit stronger, it looks a little bit stronger, we'll see. But basically, for casting BFS, you want a rod that's gonna load. You gotta have a light or an ultralight, you know, maybe medium light if you're doing power, but always loading properly with your lure choice. You know, pay attention to your ratings and test it out, see what you can get away with. So what I've found to be the best is backhand casting. It's just most comfortable for me. When I cast, I'm doing a Nike swoosh. It's, you know, it's kind of like that motion, right? You're at the top of the swoosh, you come down to preload, and that flick out is what loads and sends it. So what that looks like is engage, thumb on the spool, just like that. And we're not really about the lure today, but again, I have that mega bass flat side, hoping, you know, if there is some trout out here, I'll catch something. I hear red is good for spring, trout love gold. What better combo for early spring for color scheme on this lure. Okay, so that's backhand. Forehand is gonna be similar but reverse. So think Cactus Jack swoosh. You're gonna be starting this way and going out. And it's not hugely important, but when you're starting, having your reel sideways on your release will allow line to go out a little bit better. So keep that in mind. Same thing. You're loading that rod. Letting go of the spool as you release, you know. The other thing that I wanted to kind of go over, maybe I'll get over near that tree there. I'll let the current take this one because I over spooled a tiny bit. That's the nice thing about fishing creeks, is you can let the water do the work for you. You can see my lure just kind of drifting there. Once that starts pulling line, the current, I'll probably, actually my drag's set too high. We'll just engage it now, it should be all right. And then, you know, there's also flip casting. I want to do just one more backhand, maybe where it's a little bit deeper. Still early in the morning yet. Whoops, it's not quite as far as I wanted to get out. That was a nice trajectory though. Keeping it low when you're casting, low entry of your lure will definitely help. It gives it, you know, it doesn't spook the fish. It gives it a more natural presentation. So that leads up to the next one, flip casting. Now I am not good at flip casting because I just rather change body position. But if say you have, you know, a bush here and a bush here, you're gonna, you know, catch on your backswing or on your back hand cast, you're gonna catch on your forehand cast. Flip casting is good. All right, fam, sorry about the GoPro dying. Right as I was trying to get into flip casting, we cut out. So batteries are charged up. I've got some actual GoPro Enduros coming in the mail. This aftermarket stuff. Prove to me you get what you pay for. 20 bucks for a charger and 2 batteries. No wonder they don't do so well in cold weather and crap out on me after only like less than an hour of filming. But anyhow, ideal scenario where flip casting is a good choice. You've got cover, well, it's not cover, it's brush. You got brush on the left side, brush on the right side. So backhand cast is kind of out because you're gonna snag. Forehand cast is kind of out because you're gonna snag. So really the only choice is right in front of us. And really the way I approach flip casting is like a backhand cast. I still load the rod the same way, but I'm releasing down here. Instead of trying to float your lure out and having like an arc up and down, you're kind of trying to shoot it straight across. And it is also good for cover. You know, if I had a log over there and, you know, I can see maybe if there was a fish underneath the log, you know, that would be an ideal situation for a flip cast too. But basically all it is you're casting directly in front of you and keeping a low trajectory so that you can either get under cover or avoid any obstacles on either side of you. So what that looks like is something like that. So I'm still doing the roll kind of that I do with my normal forehand and backhand casts. I'm still kind of making that swoosh, but it's a tighter area that you're doing that in. So I almost forgot the cheating way to flip cast. So basically what you do, instead of having, you know, relying on a traditional way to load your rod, you can grab your lure and load your rod like that. And then what you'll do is kind of, as you're bringing your rod up, you let go of the lure, and that's how you load it. So something like that. Oh, Would help if I had the bail open. Well, that's how you get an extra low trajectory. And depending on how hard you pull back, you can get out there pretty good too. But yeah, just thought I'd add that little cheat code in there in case you're having troubles flicking, which it seems I kind of was myself. All right, we're at the wastewater facility. We're getting the clips. We just have to do them during lunch break, I guess. But anyhow, it's come to my attention that the way I do flip casting is also a cheat code with the little loading down here. Apparently, the true way to flip cast is going up for the preload, going down and up again. So you get kind of the momentum from whipping up and down, and then you release like right here. So let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna try it. I've never done it this way, and I didn't realize this is the traditional way to do it. So yeah, no. Alright guys, I got the tripod. Fortunately there's a lot of background noise, so I put on a spoon, or sorry, a rooster tail. I don't normally fish these, I just have them kicking around because I was on a trout kick and was like, yeah, whatever's clever, anything trout geared, I'll buy it. But this thing is 1/6 of an ounce, so it's around 5 grams. And I'm realizing that loading the rod is super important with flip cast, or flip casting. Sorry, I mean, it's got flick, all casts do, but anyhow, I just wanted to do a wider view so you can see kind of what's going on. I know the chest mount didn't really showcase it, and now that I have the proper lure, we're going to get some water. Decent shot right here, I guess. So what you doing? I'm gonna yell to the camera anyhow. Is you're letting the lure load up, you're flicking down and then out. Again, right in front of you. Low trajectory is the key. And you just kind of, just like that, you know. And the distance here, without even really trying, is twice as much as I was getting before, which is great. You know, your lure choice really significantly affects this type of casting. You're pretty much relying on the rod to load 100%. The effort that you're putting into it is very minimal. You want the rod to do all the work. So I'm counting, and I think I'll have to check. I'll have to check the ratio on the turns, but I'm pretty sure we got 7 or 8 full turns of the Silver Creek. So whatever that ends up being. Actually, let's look it up right now. It's about 29.1 inches is what they say. So if I did 7 times 29.1, 203.7 inches divided by 12, We're casting out about 17 feet. I can probably do better than that. Let's get a good load on it, and maybe a little bit more flip. Let's try again. There we go. That's a good one. All right, let's count it. Count with me. Engaging, so that doesn't count, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got about 17 turns. We'll math that out real quick. $17 times 29.1 equals 494.7 divided by 12 equals 41 feet. That's a decent cast. That's pretty much the width of a lot of these creeks, maybe more. I'm getting across the bank. So again, really, lure choice has a huge impact. You want right in the middle. This is a 1.5 to 8 gram rod, so 5 is pretty close to middle. And the difference that I can feel and see is that my rod has a little bit of bow just being outstretched. With that Megabass minnow that I was using before, I could tell it was a little too light. It was supposedly like, I think 4 or 4.5 grams out of the box, but after I swapped the snaps, took the front ring off, and swapped the hooks, you're looking at probably more like 3.5 grams. So a gram will make all the difference when you're talking about rod loading. 1 to 2 grams. Huge difference. This is so much easier today than it was, and I'm really getting out there. I might even back up more so you can kind of see how far I'm getting with this flip cast. I can see spool on that one, baby. I know I'm out there. I was not counting on that one, but I can tell you right now that I saw a spool on it, so it was probably a good, 70 to 80 feet at least. And actually, I did not keep tension towards the front part of that, so we're gonna pull this out. Rewind. Beep, 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 beep. I can see a loop that would have muffed me up big time had I just left it. And And that's about where I was. I could see the spool, give or take. Yep, right about there is where my line crossed. So we can kind of go back and count, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah, about 17 again. I'm not sure how much I have on here, but I use damn near all of it. Let's down to the spool, baby. I need to add more line on, I think. I mean, not that I would ever cast that far with a creek setting, but let's count and see how many meters I have, because I did backlash and I cut out a portion of line, so out of curiosity. So I have about 77.6 feet of line currently on the spool. I could go probably 20 more on here. Yeah, I've only got like 24 meters of line, and recommendation is about 40. Yeah, it's 40 of 0.6 go. Now, I did switch to suffix because I burned through all my Vervis, and I just got some yesterday, so I'm trying to use this line. They claim that it is a 0.6 equivalent, 0.6 go equivalent. It's saying that it's 0.012 millimeters is the diameter of this line. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's complete bullshit, because there's just no way. There's no way that I could do almost 15 more meters on this spool and have it be where it should be. Absolutely not. Anyhow, it is what it is. I'm gonna try and get some more Vervis. I'll use this for now, because this is my creek rod, and I won't be ever casting out that far. But yeah, I can see spool on just the easiest of casts. But I'm also liking this lure weight for casting. This is effortless. This is just like 5 grams on this fine tail works tune is ideal. All right, now that I've figured out for myself flip casting technique, and I'm getting, you know, around 30 to 40 feet on a cast where that has like almost no arm movement, that's pretty good for all wrist. What I can say in conclusion for this casting tutorial is, remember, when you're backhanding, Nike check, right? Forehand is reverse Nike check. You're always kind of doing a roll cast. And the main point of flip casting, because these are going to be your 3 go-to casting techniques, there's not really, in finesse, you don't really do overhand. You can do, or overhead casting, you can, but you're probably going to backlash, and with the way these light and ultralight rods load, with the proper size lure, you don't need to. You should never have to do an overhand cast. No, yeah. Why? Why would you? Anyhow, back to my point, the flip casting, you know, as I've said, you can do it several ways. The traditional way is to go straight down and flick out. So you're getting a preload on the rod and then you're flicking out. With bait casting, especially BFS, you want your reel to be sideways. It's way easier. You can see wrist motion is fluid, it's free. I can get that load, right? This is restricted, highly restricted. I'm getting about half the movement. I can still load with the proper size lure, but you're gonna have an easier time keeping your wrist out like this and going that way. So I think that's about it. Happy casting. Don't worry about backlash. It'll happen. FYI, brake settings, I'm at like 5.4 out of 20. So I'm in the 25% or less brake range. Especially with flip casting, going a little bit lower is better. About 4 is where I keep it for the flip casting. If I'm really trying to get this out there on my backhand and forehand casts, I'll go up to like 6 braking, just so that I'm not overpowering anything. The brakes will keep me in check. So I think that's it. Hope you had fun. Comment below. Oh, I said I was gonna do something fun. So I know YouTube doesn't really approve of this, but the 9th person to comment 999 is gonna win a lure. We'll figure out how that's gonna go down later. I may have to have you go to my socials and DM me your address, but I really want people to start commenting. Like, one of my videos has over 200 views. It's, you know, that's not a lot for a regular YouTuber, but for somebody like me, that means a whole lot, so I thank you. I just want more engagement. So, 9th person to comment 999 is gonna get a lure. And I promise you it'll be worth it, okay? Up for grabs. I've got probably too many megabass ciglets. I got a bulk deal, so if you want a top water, we can get you that. I do have a brand new, all I've done is swap the hooks. I haven't even fished this thing yet, but I've got a megabass 110 Junior +1. So I don't really fish that deep. I didn't realize that when I had ordered, I was ordering the +1, so I don't really need to get to those depths. If you want that one, it's 3/8 of an ounce, so keep that in mind with rod loading and everything. But we'll work something out, okay? I've got a couple lures that I could potentially give away if people are interested in those. Again, 9th comment, 999 is gonna get it. And that's literally just because my favorite number is 9. So, all right. Until the next one, toss the tiny stuff, catch the big stuff. A-dubs out!